This episode is brought to you by Gray Block Pizza. Gray Block, an especially great place to get Italian food inside of your body. And you can go to 1811 Pico Boulevard in Los Angeles on the way to the beach. Gray Block Pizza. Get that eater. What's your favorite space? A circle? Nah. Squarespace. This episode is sponsored, brought to you by Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. If you're still using word of mouth, man, you might want to shut it down. Get that Squarespace. It's award-winning, 24/7 customer service. You got a question? They've got answers. It's simple to also set up your domains and transfer them all over to Squarespace. It's never been easier. You can sell products, you can manage inventory, do what you need to do for your business. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/TheoVon, TheoVon, to save 10% off. That's that discount for your first purchase of a website or a domain. That's squarespace.com/TheoVon. Carrying a wallet in the back of your pocket, in your back pocket, what's that for? Stealing? Somebody can easily steal from you. Are you poor now? Could have been because that's what you were doing. But everything can change in a moment, and that change is the Ridge wallet. The Ridge wallet is that front pocket carry, and it has a beautiful tendency to hold everything you want and be able to be put in the front of your pocket. Why keep this stuff? Why keep your gold and your silver and your, and all your, quality metals behind you? Keep them in front of you where you can hold things. And also, this thing, bullet might be able to, this might be able to stop a bullet. I'm not saying definitely, don't have your cousin hold it up or your stepwife hold it up and shoot her, but just take care of yourselves out there and get the Ridge wallet. Go to ridgewallet.com/Theo to get 10% off of this beautiful piece. And also while you're there, they got this beautiful knife. Hear that click? That's the knife, baby. So look, if somebody does take your money, now you got this beautiful accoutrement. You could chase them down and get them right, Get them right, get them tight. ridgewallet.com/Theo for 10% off these Ridge Wallet front pocket hitters and this beautiful knife. Today's guest is a comedian, a host. He's an entertainer. He's an entrepreneur. He's somebody that, for me, has put race, he gave me a... Man, I come from one area of the world where there's different types of racial stuff, and this dude comes out of a whole nother pocket that I never thought about and never even knew existed. So it's definitely, a conversation that is, making my mind reach around, and touch itself. And he is from another country. Could be, we'll see. Looks could be deceiving. He's that bok choy bad boy, He's that karate hot stepper, bruh. It is from Just Kidding News and his new movie, Gook, I think it's called, or Gook House, Mr. David So. So you are, and I'm not trying to start with ethnicity or anything, but like if I look at you, I notice that you are from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You're Korean.
Yep.
Do you feel Korean? Does it feel like when you get up in the morning, do you feel, because I just feel white probably,
That's so interesting because I grew up in Sacramento, California. And,
right.
There's not that big of a Korean community there.
Okay.
And my parents, they ran and own, still to this day, a black beauty supply store. So predominantly the people that I grew up around were black.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had a whole identity crisis as a kid because I was a Korean American and I wasn't even born in Korea.
Wow.
But,
so you were like a kind of like made in America.
Straight up, even though I came here when I was 2. So, what do I really...
Oh, you were made in Korea.
Yeah, I'm an immigrant.
You are?
Straight up. I became a citizen 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
And then you got an urban hair care right when you got here. And did you did you use a lot of urban hair care products?
No, I didn't.
I could see you with a finger wave.
I will say this though, I did do a lot of nails for no goddamn reason.
You really?
Because that was the only shit. I was a little kid. My parents had me work at the store since I was like 3 years old.
Oh, and you guys did nails there as well.
No, we didn't do nails. We sold nail polish though, because we sold beauty supply to a lot of like other barber shops and nail stores.
Oh, so you would put the nail. So you would.
I would do my mom's nails.
Oh,
and
that's
shit.
cool.
You know what I mean, as gangster as possible and shit. Just blue on one side, red on the other. They just battle each other out. Just
la da 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 da.
yeah.
La da 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 da.
That shit's fucking hard, man. It's not as easy as people think.
Really?
And I would try to do that shit would piss me off because my a little OCD and shit. I couldn't do it right. Still can't do it right till this day.
Wow.
It's just difficult, man. Yeah.
Dude, this is so cool because we have I'm trying to think of, everything. Everybody's so into like diversity these days. And so, and so some of that started to make me feel like sometimes about like my circle of friends and what it's like and like the people that I work with. And it does make me think like on the road whenever I do comedy shows now, like I want to have, I'd like to have a little bit of diversity in my lineup, where instead of it always just being like, a white. Before that, it was like a white guy that was usually the opener for me, or who I worked with. Not the opener. That sounds like
on that topic of diversity. Like I understand it's like the hot topic right now, but
right.
There's always people that go a little too extreme left or too extreme right. Like we got to be diverse. Well, they have to be dope too,
right?
At what they do,
right.
So a lot of the times, like I see,
like forced diversity. You're talking about. There's a lot of forced diversity.
And a lot of people who are vocal that I know that they're not my friends, but I know of them. They're like, yo, they're not giving me a chance. I was like, giving you a chance for what? You suck.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you have to be good at what you do first.
Right.
You can't just like jump in the pool and expect everybody to think like, oh, I should give you a chance just because you're Asian now and that's the hot topic. Like,
right.
Be good at what you do first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
so do you feel like a minority or not?
No, I mean, it's hard to say, man. Like, one of the lessons that I learned, especially doing JK News, was that my bubble was really small. So, I would say stuff like, what's with all these, like, Asian kids complaining about, like, white people bullying them and shit? I'm like, that never happened. But what I didn't realize was that Sacramento is, like, one of the most diverse cities in the world.
Yeah, when you get up to Sacramento, San Jose is, like... you don't even know who is anything. Like it's so diverse, and like when you get into some of that area, it's extremely diverse.
Yeah, and even like people in LA, they say LA's diverse, but not really. There's a lot of cultures here, but people don't mix.
Right? They don't.
San Jose, Sacramento, everybody mixes. Like your group of friends is black people, Indian people, white people, whatever,
Right.
So like that's what I grew up with. So I thought that was a universal truth for everybody, but it's not the case.
Right.
So, that racism stuff that happened, it did happen, but didn't really happen much. And if you said something racist, you get your ass beat. So it's like, but not everybody had my upbringing. So I had to realize like, oh shit, like people still get called ching chong and, people still pull their eyes back, wherever they're from.
Right.
Which didn't really happen much here. And the only time somebody ever called me a chink was when a black girl called me a chink, and I was like, "Yeah, that's a little weird. Makes me feel funny inside. How dare you?"
No, I remember like whenever they had a rumor there was an Asian kid near us, and I've talked about this story. And we went to try and see him, and he wasn't there, and it was just a Pizza Hut that had burned down, and like the entrance, the unique roof or whatever on the ground. People thought that was like an Asian. UFO or something that landed, because it Pizza Hut had that unique roof.
Yeah.
And that was now on the ground. The building was gone. So there was like rumors started that Asians lived there.
Did the Asian people own that Pizza Hut?
No, there were no Asians at all. It was just bad intel.
Okay.
But the crazy thing was like, that's how, and then after that later on, they had an Asian kid in our high school. Who was like super white though. He seemed super white.
Was he Vietnamese?
What was he?
I feel like if it's like Louisiana, he was Vietnamese. There's a lot of Vietnamese.
Now there's a ton of Vietnamese in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And now like I tried to sell a show years ago with these girls called Wink Event Planners, and they were Vietnamese wedding planners. And I thought it was the best show ever. It was like they'd put on these big Southern decadent weddings, and it was these beautiful Vietnamese girls and these young Vietnamese guys, and we couldn't sell the show, but it was I learned really quick like what that kind of culture is like, and they work together a lot. They love to work, and they love to like barter and communicate and like pay for shit in cash and shit. They got a little bit of gangster in them. Like now it's a lot more diverse, I think, in a lot of places. And if you don't want diversity these days, it's almost like you have to stay out of cities.
Even then, like when I was in Louisiana, I was on, what's that place where all the titties are at and shit?
French Quarter, Bourbon Street.
Yep. So I was there, right? And then, all the titties. That place is fucking wild, bro.
Yeah.
It's wild. I'm talking about like on a Tuesday, it's popping. And I had no idea because I got flown out there to do some kind of brand deal shit. And I was out there, and even the way the dudes try to get you to come into their strip clubs is a little too forward for me. Like I walked by and this guy came up to me, he goes, "Excuse me." I'm like, "What's up?" He goes, "You like pussy?" I'm like, "What the fuck? Like, what kind of intro is that?" I was like, "I do, but no, thank you." You know what I mean? But like even then,
I like salad first. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like a bread basket.
Like warm me up a little bit, bro. Don't just be coming at me like that. But when I was there, it was with me and my friend Ed. He was my video guy, and we were shooting something for them. Right when we walked by, this guy just drove by the truck. He was like, "Fucking chinks!" I was like, "Whoa!" And you know, like I never experienced that, so I'm not offended.
Awesome.
I'm more like, "That was dope." Like I've never had that said to me before. You know, it was like a new experience. I was like, "Holy shit, that was a drive-by racist shooting!" Like that shit was crazy. I was like, "Fucking chink!" I was like, "That's what it feels like." It kind of burned my chest a little bit. You know what I mean?
You're like, ooh, like a fine whiskey.
So, but no, I think, you know what's funny is when you say that, I bet there's some, like probably some really hell of rural people that just drove into the city just to do that.
They saw me come by. They're like, "I've been waiting for this."
Oh, dude, they probably got a hotel room for the weekend, you know, some guy and his buddy or guy and his wife, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to get up there and really use some of these racial slurs we've been saving up."
Yo, that French Quarter area is kind of like Vegas. Like nobody's really from that area. There's like everybody's from everywhere there. You know what I mean? So you can't really like say those are like Louisiana people. They're just from all over the states.
Yeah.
So when I was kind of surprised, like this is Vegas.
Yeah, it's like Vegas.
It's straight up Vegas.
It's like a dirty kind of Vegas. Like there's a little bit of free piss everywhere. But yeah, we and I don't mean to get into everything, but you know what? One thing I found that was interesting, and so David So is a comedian, and you worked as a youth minister.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah.
And I just think everything about you, dude. You made me laugh so hard when I was on JK News, bro.
Thanks, man.
Dude, you were like one of the funniest people I'd ever been around, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" And everybody there was great, but yeah, man, I was just like, I gotta get to spend some time with this guy. So thanks so much for coming by.
No, man, like you're like one of those guests that came on JK News and we're like, "Oh, we got to get this guy back." You know, because JK News, like we kind of just say whatever the fuck we want.
Dude, well, that's what I noticed. You guys, like white people, we are living in this weird place of fear that that I don't think is very real sometimes. But then I went to, and I was like, "Oh God, I'm gonna have to really mind my P's and Q's." And the JK News, they say whatever they want.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like sometimes people get on us, they're like, "Well, you guys say a lot of racist shit." I was like, "We say racist shit about everybody."
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because we're just making like observations about cultures because we grew up in a very diverse area.
Yeah.
So we're not coming at anybody particular. We're just talking about these little things that we've seen growing up. You know, so when people are like, "Well, you say so many bad things about Asian," I say bad things about everybody. You know what I mean? You can't be racist when you hate everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't believe in like this whole like, I think everybody's beautiful. Everybody's disgusting.
Yeah.
You know, we just got to pick it out. You know? So when you came on, like when we literally tell guests, like, say whatever, and if you feel weird about it, we'll take it out.
Right.
But don't be afraid to be yourself. And we're going to be smart about what you say too. So if we say like, the people might not perceive this too well, we'll take it out in the editing.
Right.
You know, just because like we want to be smart about what we're saying and what you're saying. But don't be afraid to be yourself.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what you say, it's not going to be as bad as what Bart says. That guy says some crazy shit.
Yeah, he's wild, huh? He just put a picture of himself on the toilet yesterday. I was like, Jesus, Bart, get it together.
Yo, Bart has this ongoing thing where, you know, he likes to like troll people.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a kid now, so he just says a lot of pedophile shit. You know, people are like, "He's a pedophile, he's a rapist." It's like, no, he's doing that because you guys keep saying it. You know what I mean? But, you know, people are a little slow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he's interesting, man. Yeah, and there he is right there, Bart Kwan. And Bart Kwan is he and his wife run a gym, and they're a sweet couple, and they, you know, they're fun to be around because it's like neat hearing about their like kind of marriage life and stuff like that, and they have a little baby that's beautiful little kid. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so you guys' group is kind of diverse. So and for people that don't know about JK News, can you explain it to them real quick?
JK News is just basically a show where we talk about current events, but
Yes.
it's not really about the current event. It's about the conversation.
Right.
You know, so we just kind of, I think our motto is like real news, just realer opinions. Mm-hmm. And that's really what it is. We're just stating like random bullshit. So sometimes people come on the channel and they're like, "Why aren't you talking about the article?" That's not what we're about.
Right.
That just sparks conversation. And so for us, when we first started out, people were very particular. They're like, "We want to hear more of the story." Well, bitch, go fucking read it then. That's not, it's called Just Kidding News. What were you expecting? They think we're CNN. You know what I mean? Like, well, your facts are wrong. I don't give a fuck. I don't know shit. That's what people don't realize. Like, I literally don't know shit.
Yeah.
And there's like, I kind of, it's so
And when you
funny.
say we, there's a group. So take me real quick to the group, and it's a diverse group. You have, what do you have?
We have Mexicans and Chinese people and Korean and Japanese.
Yeah. Okay, so that's diverse, man.
Yeah, and then we
me
always,
anyway.
Yeah, and then we always try to bring other people's perspective. We try to get like white people on, black people on, and
Oh, it was so awesome, man.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, this is what it feels like to be free. Like you guys, it felt like I just felt free over there.
yeah, man. And the cool thing is like, well, the bad thing for us, like, no brands want to fuck with us because we kind of like talk too much, you know, which kind of sucks because like I've been trying to get a McDonald's sponsorship for days.
I bet.
And they just, I think they know because they keep sponsoring all my friends around me, and they're just fucking with me now at this point. It's like, so
What about KFC? You guys can't get them?
you know, KFC. I don't know. Well, I can't eat KFC, so like,
Really? Why would happen?
I had food poisoning once when I was 14. Haven't touched it since.
From KFC?
Can't touch it.
And that powers a lot of your, you know, a lot of Asians are powered by KFC. If you go to a lot of Asian countries, it's
Korean people love KFC,
Bro.
bro.
Shanghai, China, every building has KFC in it.
Yeah.
Dude, there was, and also they'll have the smallest McDonald's. They had an 8 square foot McDonald's, dude. You couldn't even go in. It was just a window outside of a thing, but there was one person in there that was like, dude, they had a fucking grill next to them. They had a shake maker. They had fucking Happy Meals. They had another little Asian person on a shelf making the Happy Meals toys, literally making them right there because it's China. You know, it's like they had some, like, dude, I'm not joking. There was a drive-through window, but there's no way to get to you. You just had to walk up to it, and it was 8 square feet, and it was one person running a fucking McDonald's all by themselves.
Yo, you know what's crazy? Like when you go to other countries that's outside of like America or even like European countries, right? Like Asian people have this like addiction to working hard.
Yes.
I don't know what it is, but when I went to Japan and I went to their McDonald's, like that's the definition of fast food. I ordered the food, right? I go, number 1, blah, 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 blah. And they go, okay, thank you. And I walked 2 steps and it was right in front of me.
Wow.
I was like, hold on. I was like, is this mine? They're like, that's yours. I'm like, what? This is fast food.
Yeah.
This is what it is. And that guy was sweating and working his ass off as if he owned the company.
Yes.
I was like, it's just McDonald's, bitch. Chill.
Yeah.
But, you know?
But they they have pride. There's a different amount of pride
Yeah.
that comes in in places that I've been in Asia. There's a different amount of pride that comes. Even in Shanghai, they had, like, you were at the hotel, and if you had a question, you would ask somebody, and then a lot of people need jobs in China. So they have a job and they want that person's job to be of use. And so then they're like,
Yeah.
oh, you need to go talk to this person. Even if they knew the answer, it was like, oh, this person's in charge of that. You need to go talk to them. Even if that person was 10 feet away from them, they would walk you over to that person. Then you stand there and talk to that person. And you know the other person could have answered your question.
Yeah.
But it's like everybody has a job and you walk outside of the hotel and it's somebody's job just to kind of tell you hello and see how things are going. And like, and there were security guards in the weirdest place. We don't really need security here.
Yeah.
Like there's just like a tree right here, you know, like you don't.
China, you need. China's kind of dangerous to me, man. Like
Really?
that's like one of those spots. There's a couple of places that I know that people are from that they never want to go back to.
Mm.
Like I had a bunch of Indian friends in college, right? And I remember, like, I was talking to his dad. I was like, "Yo, I would love to go to India." He's like, "Why?" He goes, "Don't ever go." I'm like, "Damn, bro! Like you don't want me to go?" He goes, "It's terrible," you know, because it's just like what the
Yeah.
dude literally told me. He goes, "Have you seen Aladdin?" He goes, "Just like that." you know what I mean? His dad was a jokester.
It's a lot of people wishing shit would get better.
Yeah, you know, I was just kind of like surprised. I was like, "Damn, like he really doesn't want me to go to India," you know.
Wow.
But like a few of my friends that have gone, they said that, you know, I mean, obviously the nice areas are always nice, but he goes like it's super impoverished, so it's not a real depiction of what you think it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of like kids who are poor, homeless, like begging on the streets, and I don't know if I could emotionally deal with that shit.
Yeah, it's like who wants to be fed?
Yeah.
You know? Like it's not like that. It's not like that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, that whatever that, what was that movie?
Slumdog Millionaire.
Slumdog Millionaire.
Millionaire.
That's a good movie.
I haven't seen it.
Americans have this weird fascination, or it's not Americans, but at a certain level of wealth, which America is automatically at, even just by being in America, we have this fascination with seeing poverty,
Yeah.
and that is like a tourist thing in a way. I don't think we even realize it, you know?
Oh shit, that's
But
right.
for us to see poverty at like an extreme level, it's or to see like a third world country, to see something like that, it's, and now I'm kind of thinking about this as I'm saying it. It's something there. I don't know what it is.
That's true, because my girlfriend always asks me, she goes, "How come you don't want to go to Europe?" I was like, "I'm not trying to see it's too comfortable. I want to
Yes.
feel scared. Yeah, I mean, I want to walk into a country and wonder if I'm gonna walk away with my fucking passport.
Yes.
For some reason, I like that. Like, I want to go there and I want to feel
I want
uncomfortable.
to feel something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I never thought about that shit, but I'm trying to go to impoverished countries.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and I think it's also it makes you feel something. Like I remember going like into South Africa and going to some of like these Soweto villages and stuff like that, and it's just, I mean, it's hundreds of thousands of people living in, just lean-to things that you would something you would see like, and I don't mean this in an offensive way, something you would see a dog living in, like in a poor neighborhood in America, you'd see a dog kind of lean and in like a makeshift kind of dog house,
Yeah.
and you have whole families living in these, and then just tens and thousands of them on top of each other, and there's something it does to you. It like, I don't know if seeing that makes us feel more, grateful for what we have, but it's almost. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm just trying to think about it. It's interesting.
Traveling's like one of those things that I got into later in life. When I was a kid, you kind of grow up with not so much. Traveling isn't really an option. Like I only knew about traveling. Like to me, like traveling was like some white people shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I would travel, to the other side of the city, and that's about it. 'Cause I remember when I was in college, right? And like it was something small as this. Like I would talk to, there's a lot of white people in college. Where I grew up, I didn't have a lot of white people, so they would say shit like, "Oh yeah, I'm going on vacation." I'm like, the fuck is that?
Yeah.
What's vacation? You know what I mean? It's like where you take a break and you go a break. What the fuck is that? What are you saying to me right now? You know what I mean? And so what I didn't realize is like that kind of stuff is important because it opens up your world. Because I lived in this small bubble. You know what I mean? I thought everybody was like me. Biggest thing, Sacramento, like the use of the N-word, right? Everybody used that shit growing up.
Yeah.
I can remember the very first time I used it to the guy who taught me how to use it.
Yeah.
And when I went to college, I didn't realize that not everybody is okay with that.
Right.
Just because for us it was a term of endearment. It was how you got angry, sad, whatever. It was how we joked with each other.
Yeah.
When I went to college, I was like, oh shit, I can't just use it so freely. I was like, oh, this is an offensive ass term.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, to some people, and it's sometimes, I mean, it's offensive on, like in the media, it's definitely like portrayed, but in certain instances, some people don't mind as much. It's like, it's weird. It's like some cultures, like smaller subcultures, you can kind of use it in. Like I remember when I was in middle school, they had this group called NFL, and it was the N word for life. That was our little group, right? And there was like a mixed kid in there, black and white, couple black kids. I was the white kid in it. And it definitely, like, in our little group of 5 or 6 kids, it was okay.
Yeah.
At certain times. Now, dude, if that group wasn't together, bruh, you weren't fucking even trying to pretend like you could say that.
Exactly. And
So it's definitely different in certain little pockets here and there. But what's interesting to me is, so a lot of people would think, oh, well, white people are always using this term, and like racist, redneck white people. But then it's interesting to hear that there's a group of kids in Sacramento who are using this term growing up.
Man, Asians, Mexicans, everybody, man.
Yeah.
And it's weird because like I was like trying to explain it to somebody once because they didn't grow up around a single black person ever, right?
Right.
And they're like, well, you use it in front of your friends and stuff, so can you use it? And I was like, no, like the black card doesn't have this transfer. It's like your California license. You know what I mean? It only works in California.
Yeah.
If I go somewhere else, it doesn't apply. So you got to be very smart about it.
Yeah.
Or in the case of just know who's comfortable with it. And there's even people like in the black community who don't like the word at all. Even
Yeah.
they won't use it.
Yeah.
So it's not like something that's just like, no pun intended, black and white.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so for me, I just try to steer away from it as much as possible. Every now and then, just to be honest, like it slips out when I go back to Sacramento because everybody's saying it in front of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, but that's Sacramento bubble. So
Right.
I have to realize that's not the rest of the world. So I'm just trying to be smart about it. It's like, yo, you don't got to use it, bro.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Just try to take it out your vocabulary the best as you can. I mean, I've been using it since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And I use it in a positive way, but that doesn't mean that's how everybody's going to perceive it. So I just have to be smart about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I especially, like, even having a southern accent, I have to be careful because it's like immediately people think, suddenly they put me on a farm and they have me beating families and stuff like that. And it's like, it's fucked up kind of, it's like, it's, but I think it's, I don't know, it's interesting, man. It's definitely, it's interesting to see that just because you grow up in a place that has a lot of diversity, that still you can see it as a bubble. Because that's really the truth of it. The truth of it is that we had bubbles, Like, we had a bunch of kids growing up that had lisps for some reason. I grew up in, like, in the lisp belt. And so you had a lot of lisps. So here's the thing. Dude, if lisps, you were welcome by us, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We grew up in the fucking lisp belt. You could have all the lisps you want. Everybody knew how to deal with somebody with a lisp. It was welcome. We would joke around about it. It was comfortable. Lisp people were comfortable. Non-lisp, NLs, you know, we're comfortable. Like, it was okay. So then it's interesting because that's our little bubble. But you go into somewhere else and you say, maybe somebody had a lisp and you said something back to them or joked around, and it wouldn't be, you know, it wouldn't be kind of the same. It's just, what I'm saying is just interesting how I could go to a really diverse place that had a bunch of different ethnicities, but maybe no lisps. And then suddenly, like, it, you know, what was comfortable back in a place where I'm hella comfortable around people with lisps, suddenly, like, I use a term and other people get nervous, but they don't know that, like, it's okay in this bubble, you know?
It's kind of interesting, too, in that case, because for me, like, you know, what I found out about myself when I went to college was, you know, the stereotype is, like, if you have somebody, like, the very negative, bad stereotype is, like, if when you're in front of, like, a group of black people, people feel uncomfortable. But for me, I grew up around that, so it feels comfortable.
Right.
But when I was in front of a group of white people, I felt weird.
Oh, wow.
I was like, these motherfuckers are judging me.
I could see that.
You know what I mean? I was like, oh, shit. And it felt fucking odd, and I wasn't used to it. And specifically, like, I call it, like, white humor. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't understand white humor. So they would bust jokes, and I'm sitting there. I'm the only one not laughing. I didn't get it. And I was like, oh, man, this is some white people shit. So when I went to college, that shit was like National Geographics for me. Like, I was just observing people in the bushes. You know what I mean? Like, look at them. Look at the way they high five. It's way different. They don't do this. They don't do that. They just touch it. They walk away. You know, I'm writing notes. You know, I'm like, that's how I'm supposed to get in with these groups. You know what I mean? Like, so it was like a wild thing to me, man.
Yeah.
And so, like, even like greetings, jokes, like even white people food, you know what I mean? Like, I know white people like hamburgers and shit, but like, I was so ignorant. Like, I remember I talked to my friend Kale. I was like, yo, Kale, what do white people eat? And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, you know, aside from like hamburgers, hot dogs, he goes, shit, I don't know, casseroles?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck's a casserole? Yeah. He's like, casseroles where you take stuff in the fridge and then you just put whatever in it.
It's a white paella. It's like the white.
Yeah.
What is it called in Asian culture?
It's fried rice.
It's fried rice.
It's white people fried rice.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, that's your fried rice. And I started connecting shit. I was like, what we do is we take our chicken feet and we chop that shit up. And we throw that, you know, we throw like random shit in there. That's why, like, when I watched what's that show that Joe Rogan used to be on as the host? Fear Factor. That shit used to crack me up, dude.
Oh, Asian people must love. How do Asian people feel about Fear Factor? This is a great question.
It's just lunch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They would be up there and they would just be like Joe Rogan's like, you have to eat fucking bull balls. And my parents were like, that's pretty good. You know, and there's nobody's scared.
Yeah. The parents are like, oh, I wonder what recipe they're going to use.
Like, you would never see an Asian person on Fear Factor, dude, because it was just a normal Sunday. You know what I mean? They're like, you have to cross this river, swim, and then survive. And they're like, that's how I came here anyway.
Yeah, that's,
you know?
yeah.
You know?
The delta is flooding. Yeah, that's it. Wow, man, that's so crazy.
I like, somebody has to bring up a clip of just like a legit Asian person being on Fear Factor, because that's nothing. It's almost like
They're faking it, huh?
They're either faking or they think they're just recreating their life how they got here. You know what I mean? like Joe Rogan, like, you got to build this boat and go across and save that person. Yeah. That was me that year, man. You know, and they would just go over swim. You know, like, it was so funny.
Oh, is this it?
No, it reminds me of Tyrone Biggums on Chappelle's show.
Yeah.
He handled everything. He was a homeless crack addict, and he handled everything on Fear Factor.
And this is Rogan on the show?
No. Oh, yeah, Rogan played himself on the show, but he eats a buffalo penis, no problem. He's like, oh, I get a free meal. So
that's exactly what that shit was. Because they would talk about stuff on Fear Factor as if it was something nobody has ever eaten. But I grew up eating that shit.
Right.
Like, this is...
Oh, yeah, dude. And when I was in Shanghai, even, I mean, and I know that's China and it's not Korea, but it's like the things they had like in a gas station as snacks.
Yeah.
The things they sold on a train as snacks. It was like talon, like animal talon, a hawk or some kind of hawk, or maybe a strong sparrow.
Who knows, man?
You know, pigeon could have been a fucking pigeon with like a kind of cleft palates in its feet or something. Mm-hmm. But like huge talons with like in a barbecue sauce or in a garlic. Like, it was like, what? And you'd see some fucking kid just sucking on the toenails of me. Like, what the fuck?
And this is an important thing to talk about too. So some people hear that, like, oh, what is he saying? I was like, you can't say shit to Theo because he went there. He was there. You know what I mean? So like, for me, it's like, you say it, I'm like, that shit's so true. Yeah. You know, because like when I went to
like, to me, that's so scary, right?
Yeah.
But then also, like, I grew up eating crawfish, so if you see somebody and you're not familiar with it, and even though Vietnamese people, I'm pointing at you and I'm just general, but Vietnamese people love crawfish. Like, that's a big thing in their culture, right? But it's like, seeing somebody eat something different than you do, it's sometimes it's fucking baffling, man.
Yeah, even for me, like there's something I can't eat that a lot of Asian people eat. It's tripe, which is like that inner lining of a cow stomach. I fucking hate that shit. But Asian people eat that shit like it's a delicacy, man. Like I swear, like our people are so dope because in the sense of whatever white people thought was trash, Asian people are like, that's delicious. You know what I mean? And so I was like, what the fuck is going on right now, man?
And white people eat cracklings, which is basically like we'll fry up pork fat, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's not the same as tripe. I mean, you guys are going way deeper than the fat, like cutting the stomach out after, which I think is bizarre. But Asian people don't like to waste things.
Oh, absolutely not.
They don't like to waste things at all. Why is that?
I think it's just like it's survival. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of Asian people it's about utility too. You know what I mean? Like if you look at my house, like every Korean or like zero generation or first generation home has a house that doesn't make sense. Like there's just a bunch of, like I feel like this is what I saw growing up. It's like whenever I went to like a white person's house, their furniture's matched. You know what I mean? Like, there's a purpose for this. You know what I mean? And they would say words that I did not know. They're like, "Oh, this is a duvet for the." I was like, "Duvet? What the fuck are you saying? What the fuck's a duvet? You have a blanket over your blanket? That's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. You don't have a fucking washing machine, dumbass. That's what I would think.
Yeah.
You know,
Your blanket has a blanket?
yeah. I was like, "What the fuck? Why is your blanket getting cold, bro?"
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea what was going on. And they're like, "Oh, put your shoes in the foyer." I'm like, "Foyer? What the fuck is this fool saying right now? You mean like in front of the door? Just say that." You know what I mean? And like everything would make sense. Like pictures would make sense. The frames match. There's plants here because of like
It's organized.
Yeah, like for us, it was more like this is a couch. You sit on it. We're gonna get this because I saw it at a garage sale. I'm gonna put it over here. And this, I'm talking about like poor Asian people. And
Right.
that's how, if you go to my house right now, nothing makes sense. My house is brown in the front, yellow in the back, brick on the side. It doesn't make sense. Like I don't understand it. You know what I mean? And I'll tell my dad like, "Yo, this is ugly." He goes, "How's it ugly?" I'm like, "What the fuck are you? How is it not ugly?"
So, but now tell me this then: is in Asian culture, are they not as infected by like what the neighbors think and stuff like that as white people are? Like, what is the exchange rate on that kind of?
I don't think so. Like, I feel like culturally, just like ethnic people, we kind of just mind our own business, which is something that I wish we didn't have because like back in the day, like you get to know your neighbors, so you keep your neighborhood safe. So that's kind of like that stuff of like, it's like integrated into our culture. In my personal opinion, from what I've experienced, is that we ain't no snitches.
Right.
No matter what, like
I see nothing.
Yeah. Like it's like what your neighbor could get murdered. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's just because like we just mind our own business. Like the other day, I was kicking it with me and my a couple of homies from Sacramento, and we're in South Pasadena. It's super nice. This little kid hit a softball, went over the fence, and rolled right next to me. I was like, shit, ain't my business.
Right.
And I stopped. I was like, hold on a second. I should probably pick that up. I didn't think about it.
So it's not that you're being rude or you don't want to get involved. It's just that it's none of your business.
Yeah.
See, I noticed that this is, like in Shanghai, I noticed a lot of the Chinese people. I know you're not Chinese, but the Chinese people it always seemed like they didn't, like white people seem to or in America, people seem to notice each other more being around or like interact even just in like regular moments on a train or anything. Chinese people, everybody very much in their own, what I perceived at the time to be in their own world, like didn't care. But you're saying, so some of that is more, it's not my business, so that's not my business.
It's not my business, but it's funny because so
it's not rude. They're not being rude.
I don't think so. I think it's just a cultural difference, and I also too another difference is that like when Asian people, they care a lot about what their peers think about them, though. So like when I would do stuff that was what I call unsavory, my parents would be like, "Well, what are they going to say about us?" I was like, "Who?" The people at the church,
Right.
so how I dressed, how I spoke, how I behave, and they're just like, "Oh my God, they're going to say this about you and they're going to say that." It's like, man, who the fuck cares, man? You know what I mean? Like, fuck the pastor, dude. I don't care. You know what I mean? I didn't give a fuck. And that's why I ran into a lot of trouble. I actually got this from my mom because my mom is like an I don't give a fuck type of person. You know what I'm saying? And so, but my father was a pastor, so they always clashed in that kind of sense.
Oh, wow.
Because my dad's like, carry yourself a little better. Don't be walking. And in Korean, she would just curse left and right. She goes, "I don't give a fuck."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, are Koreans kind of like black people, kind of?
No, it's what it is too. Like,
and that's a hell of a generalization too. But I'm just asking, like, from like, how would you?
I see, like, the cultural parallels that I saw with Korean and black people is that number one, family's important. Number two, we also beat our kids a lot.
Right.
So that's where I connected a lot. You know what I mean? So like my homie would get beat with a switch, I would get beat with a bamboo stick. You know what I mean? It was like, and that's not even a racial joke. I would legit get beat with a bamboo stick. And that was the worst thing ever. I would love to get hit by a belt, a shoe, a fist, a foot, but the bamboo stick, I fucking hated that shit.
Really? What is it about it?
You know why? It's because that motherfucker was like so thin and slick, like you couldn't see it, but you could hear it. So my mom would be mad. She goes, come over here. I'll hear it. And then I'm like, what happened? And then look at my shoulder. I'm like, you know, so you couldn't. That shit was ninja as fuck. Wow. I hated that shit. And every Asian kid knows it's that thin green bamboo stick that you can get in a 24 pack. Oh. And that shit doesn't break. So when my grandma would beat my ass with that shit, I remember when she smacked me and it snapped. I was so happy. And then right behind the couch, a dusty 24 pack. I was like, what the fuck? She beat me with the same stick for damn near 8 years and she still had 23 left.
No.
Yeah, that shit had Honda Civic of sticks, bro. That shit would go a long way. Wild, man.
Sorry to interrupt the episode, but I've also been doing a lot of linoleum flooring. You know, I'm from the flooring belt where a lot of people, you know, they was walking around and suddenly they wanted something different under their feet. And that's flooring. And you can learn about flooring or anything you want at Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform, and it has over 20,000 classes in business, design, technology, and more. You could take classes social media marketing, data science, mobile photography, creative writing. You name it, they got it. If you want to teach a fish to do something different, I don't know if they can help you do that, but they can help you do so much else. Join the millions of students already learning on Skillshare today with a special offer just for my listeners. You get 2 months of Skillshare for just 99 cents. Man, come on. That's $1. That's right. Skillshare is offering this past weekend listeners 2 months of unlimited access to over 20,000 classes for just 99 cents. You got a dumb cousin? Change his whole life up for $1. To sign up, go to Skillshare.com/Theo, Theo. Again, go to Skillshare.com/Theo to start your 2 months now. That's Skillshare.com/Theo, and good luck with your learning. Time to sell you something, and that something is the MNML Case. That's the minimal case. It's the world's thinnest phone case, and it really is. I mean, this thing, it is sleek. It's basically like putting a little bit of a condom on your phone, you know? It really is the thinnest phone case in the world. So if your phone is trying to look sultry or trying to attract men or other phones, then this could be that customary cover. It is legally the world's thinnest phone case. It's just 0.01 inches thick. That's hardly any amount. It shows more the beauty of your phone. Now, if your phone hits the ground and stuff like that, I'm not saying that this bad boy is going to take care of your phone. You know what I'm saying? It's not about that style. It's not about that, you know, that bumper to bumper traffic. But it is about actually having the world's thinnest phone case in the world, and you can have that. Go to MNMLcase.com and use promo code Theo, Theo. That's MNMLcase.com and use promo code Theo for 15% off. It's 100% money back guarantee. If you're unhappy for whatever reason, they will refund your money and you don't even have to send the case back. So go on and get that deal, boy, that minimal case.
I'm just trying to think of any other things that I thought, like, here's one thing that I noticed. Because I don't really get to talk to Asian people that much.
Yeah.
So one thing that I feel sometimes it's hard for me to know. The more I talk to you a little bit, it seems to start to get a little bit easier for me. It's hard for me to know, like, what Asian, like, if I'm around white people, like if I'm around Nick and Nick's having like a tough day, our producer, then I can kind of get a vibe from him. You know, like, oh man, maybe, you know, Nick had a long night, or maybe Nick's, you know, have some stuff going on at home or something, you know, he's not maybe his usual chipper self, you know. It's hard for me to get a vibe of what Asian people are like.
You know,
is it the same the other way around?
I just don't, like, that's the same other way. It is for sure, because I don't hang around a lot of white people too.
Right.
Like I said, when I went to college, like I couldn't click with any white people. You know, it was super hard for me. Like the subject matters, what would make them laugh, and I usually connect through people through humor.
Right, I could see that.
Yeah, so if I can't do that, then we're kind of at a loss. Like it's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
So for me, it was, I just didn't get it. I could not wrap I kind of got it now.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of like, I think, especially in the LA area, like a lot of white people like hypothetical jokes. You know what I mean? So they'll create a scenario and that's the joke that they usually say.
I see.
And this is just me from an objective point of view, me writing notes.
Right.
You know, so that's where a lot of humor comes in. A lot of like, I guess it's kind of like hood talk. So I wouldn't just say like Asian, Black, and Mexican. It's just everybody. We like to clown on each other.
Yes.
You know, we'll make fun of each other, go back and forth. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of thing that we have. Like Bart always clowns on me.
Yeah.
He always makes fun of me. But it makes me like him more for some fucking reason, man.
Yeah, and you know what? So as you say that, I think that and I was talking about this with Joey Diaz, just recently. But there's something about that kind of culture where you're out on the street making fun of each other that brings people closer together, or just even making fun of each other. Because if you're making fun of each other and somebody's there, they know, like. And it's not a mean thing. And if it does get mean, you can apologize.
Yep.
Then it's like that kind of shit brings people together. And that was the funnest stuff, was making fun of each other.
Hell yeah. That was like how we bonded with each other, man. Sometimes you do that shit at funerals, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no holds bar. And nowadays, I feel like so many kids nowadays are so fucking sensitive, man. Because I go,
Is it an Asian community too? Or because it's definitely in the white, it's definitely in that Los Angeles. It's definitely in California. Dude, the rest of America is not that fucking sensitive, bro.
Maybe I'm in the wrong place then, because I miss that shit, dude.
It's LA.
Yeah, you just have to like be careful about what you say, and so a lot of people, there's like two things: either you really like me or you really hate me.
Right.
Just my problem is I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? They're like, people will say like, "Yo, man, I don't think this guy likes you," and I'm like, "Well, good for him. Tell him to go fucking die for all I care." You know what I mean? And that's the sad part. It's like you think about me more than I think about you.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? And so like people just. They just want you to give a fuck so much now. They want you to give a fuck so bad. And they also want you to hate what they hate so bad. And if you don't hate what they hate, that means you're the enemy. And so how come I just can't have a different opinion?
Right.
It's okay. Like here's the wild thing, right? So there are certain like YouTube creators, right? I watch their stuff. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And they go, what don't you like about me? I didn't say you. I said I didn't like your content. I like you perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Why do I have to like your stuff to like you as a person?
Right.
And if I say I don't like it, who am I? Fuck me too.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And
Right.
It's the other way around. Fuck what I think too.
Yeah.
And that's okay. If anything, if you came up to me like, you know what, David? I don't fucking like you. I'm like, man, now I like you, dude.
I like you.
Because at least I know where you stand.
Yeah.
At least you're not doing this whole, man, peace up, bro. I really appreciate you. Fuck that shit. You don't appreciate me. Just say
Right.
you hate me.
Right.
And then I can understand who you are.
Yeah.
And that's all that it is. And the people are so used to doing this in LA where they go, you know what? It's all about peace and love. You don't believe that shit, bro.
That's true.
Because you're talking shit about me behind my back.
Right.
The difference between me and you is I call you a fucking loser and then I say it behind your back too.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I'm honest both ways around. And if you hate me, I understand.
Yeah.
It's okay. I understand. I'm not that lovable, dude. I get it.
Now, are a lot of Asian people like you, or is this so you are also an anomaly?
Yeah, I that's why I said, remember, like I was like, I can't keep comparing people to my upbringing and who I am.
Ah, that's a good note.
They are who they are, and I'm just a little weird. Like
Yeah, no, but you almost have to be, I think, to be able to grasp as many different kind of levels of humor and stuff as to be able to relate to different people humor wise.
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing I was like, oh, this guy's super funny to me. Like is he as funny to Asian people? Is he as funny to other ethnicities? Like, I wonder if that transcends. Does it matter? I wonder.
I don't think it matters. Like, a friend of mine's trying to do stand-up right now. And then, I used to do stand-up. And all I wanted to be was a stand-up comedian growing up.
Yeah.
And then I found out I actually started liking writing better, more than doing stand-up,
Mm-hmm.
So he was asking me, he goes, well, how do I do stand-up and not offend people? I was like, well, if you're thinking about offending people, you shouldn't do stand-up. You got to have an opinion. Whether you like it or not, whether they like it or not, you still have to start from point A to point B. You can't say a joke and be like, oh, but, no, you got to go all the way through.
Yeah.
And I think people are so scared to do that. So, in my personal opinion, like when I see a lot of stand-up now, like I love stand-up. So I love watching everybody. Anybody that can make me laugh, I want to watch it. And it's just kind of like I see this thing where people backpedal a lot in stand-up now. They have to say something and preface it with something so people don't get offended. It's like, well, now you just ruined the joke. Just say your joke, bro.
Right.
And if people get offended, that's okay. That's why I love Patrice O'Neal so much.
Yeah.
He said something great. He was like, half the room should be laughing and the other half should be horrified.
Yeah.
And I genuinely believe that's true. That's why I watched your stand. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
You have something to say. So that kind of art's dying out a little bit. And everybody wants to do stand-up because everybody's so used to telling somebody, oh, you can do it. It's like, can you really though?
Can you really though? Yeah.
You
But
know?
do you think it's going to start to swing the other way? Some of this pendulum, I think it has to.
Oh yeah.
There's no way that like people are going to continue to listen to fucking boring, lame bullshit that that advertisers say is good.
Yeah, that's why you have people like you. There's like Jim Jeffries. There's still Bill Burr. There's all these people.
Yeah, Bill Burr's the one.
Dude, I fucking love Bill Burr, man. Like when I started doing stand up again, somebody mentions like you kind of remind me of like Bill Burr. I was like, I didn't know who Bill Burr was because I only listened to black stand up comedians.
Yeah.
At the time.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
it was
You're
only
the
like
craziest Asian person.
Yeah, like Eddie Murphy. There was no like Korean like stand up for me that I could look up to besides Bobby
Really?
Lee at the time.
Yeah.
You know?
I know how much fucking clout does he must have. He's the only one.
He doesn't even know it either.
No.
I keep telling the dude, I was like, bro, you were my hero. And he goes like, I don't understand it. I'm not that dope. And I'm like, dude, you have the lowest self-esteem for somebody who has influenced so many Asian people. Dude.
He has no muscles in his body. You know that? It's all fucking gristle. It's amazing what even holds his skeleton together. Bro, it definitely, like, if they cut him open at a buffet, it would be a dessert.
It's like you touch him and you're like, this isn't human. What is this?
Oh, you can hug him and completely reshape him. Dude, I squeezed him on the sides the other day, and he was like, for the rest of the day, he was like 4 inches taller. He's so malleable.
That dude's like, he cracked me up, man, and I didn't.
But he's the only one.
Yeah, man, he says some wild shit, dude, and he's not afraid of that stuff too.
That's true.
And I've always like loved his stand up. It's not like the stand up that I normally like, which is a little bit more precise. You know what I mean? Because he's a little bit out there. He's a little bit more showy.
Yes.
But like it's so genuine. That's why I loved his podcast so much. You know what I mean?
He's authentic.
Yeah, and I probably liked his podcast more than I liked his stand-up, which I didn't think was possible.
Yeah.
Just because, like, for him, it's not even making jokes. He's just a weird dude.
Yeah, he's just crazy, and he's wearing all that shit. Like, he was trying to flex his nuts. I was over there 2 days ago. There we are right there, and he's trying to flex his fucking nuts. And they edited those shorts in. I didn't wear those shorts, but that's great.
Bobby shorts are real. Theo's are
Yeah, Bobby shorts are real, and they also edited in a lot of fucking cock into his pants.
Yeah, I just...
full watermelon in there.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually not his dick. That's his ball sack. Because I saw that shit in real life.
Oh, his dick is very sad looking.
His ball sacks are huge. So we were...
Yeah. Very dark, too.
My God, man. You would think there was something wrong with... Like, his balls are holding their breath.
Yeah.
Like his... We did a live podcast, and I was a guest. And he just got butt naked and started grinding up on a dude.
Yeah.
And from the backside, I could see his ball sack. Like they were trying to run away from him.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean? They were so long balls.
Oh, very long, very quailish almost. It almost looks like he's giving birth to like a little baby duck. You know, it's like that. It's more of an amniotic sac than it is balls.
His ball sack legit looks like that last drop on a faucet that wants to fall down.
Yeah.
It's just kind of dangling there.
Ugh.
And then you just expect it to just fall off. I was kind of surprised. I was like, I've never seen so much ball sack from behind somebody before. And
he puts he said he puts pine scent on his nuts sometimes, which I think is fascinating. For an Asian person to even use pine, it's just such a simple, old school kind of, I found that just to be, and anyone use pine,
He's one of those like interesting Korean dudes, man. Like he kind of made me feel when I was a kid that I wasn't the odd person out anymore.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like there's other Korean people out there that's kind of like me.
That can be silly.
Yeah, that could be silly. That's not so serious all the fucking time.
So tell me this. So you were a youth minister?
Yeah.
Tell me about some of that, man, because that's fascinating. So in your culture, is Christianity the main? Were you guys Christian? And if so, kind of what branch were you guys in?
Presbyterian at first.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then when my father opened up
church
his own
bells.
church. Yep. So my dad, he opened up his own church because he's a pastor. So he opened up his own church afterwards where it was non-denomination. And so from that, long story short, I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do. I just know I like talking to people. I like making people feel happy and good about themselves.
Right.
And I thought, maybe like ministry is my calling. And so, I tried it out for a couple of years and I wanted to do it. And I worked at my dad's church. And lo and behold, it's not my calling. Like being a pastor is one of the most difficult jobs on earth because
Is it really? Why is that?
anything bad that happens is your fault. It doesn't fucking matter. Either you didn't pray enough, and people are looking for that outlet, and it's understandable. Like church is what I call like a hospital for broken people. It's not for people who are perfect. You're looking for somebody to help you, and that's why you come to church. So when you're the leader of this group and you don't have these answers, and when you tell them things are going to be okay and you should trust in God, and it doesn't happen, sometimes people get mad at you. And I wasn't very good with that. I grew up as a very angry person. So some of these kids, like I'm talking about, I should be leading them. Like I was so fucking petty. There's this kid. He said he was good at basketball, and I was substantially better than him, at the time. You know, and as a pastor, you should be lifting this kid up.
Yeah.
But he would go for a layup, and I would swat his ass. You know what I mean? Like, in the name of the Lord, bam, in your fucking face. Now go home and pray, bitch.
Wow.
You know, like, I was that guy. I'm like, yo, maybe I shouldn't do this. You know what I mean? Because he just wants to show off and have fun. But I'm like, man, I just got to humble him a little bit. He was like 5'3". And he's like trying to do all these fancy moves. And I would just, you know, trip him a little bit.
Yeah.
Throw some dust in his
Throw
face.
a little bit of the Lord in him.
Yeah, you know
Fear
what I
of the
mean?
God.
Exactly. And so, like, I remember the last day I realized I couldn't do this, and it was because it's the same fucking kid. He was like this. It's like this fucking rich kid,
Oh God.
right? That thought he
feel
had
you.
the world. He got in trouble, and his parents are asking me to help him out because he had an addiction to codeine, so Oxycontin or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And
Scissor, huh?
so he's like, that shit's expensive as fuck. So he would steal like his relative's shit and sell it so he can get more pills. And he got into so much like legal trouble. His parents were just asked out on money, and his parents are pretty well off. And this kid kept on talking about during Bible study how cool he is. And I got so fucking mad at him, I literally punched this desk in half in front of the whole. And
Which is a very Asian thing to do. If you look at a lot of old Asian videos, they're
yes.
constantly chopping stuff in half.
and I sat there because like what happens is like church and culture mix too. Because it's still a Korean church. There's still Korean culture, but there's still Jesus there.
Right.
But I was too Korean. And so
Oh,
I got so
wow.
mad. Like, it was like this flimsy table, but I still punched it in half. And I sat there and I was like, this is not for me. I hate these kids. I fucking hate them. If they go to hell, I'm like, well deserved. That's what I was thinking in the back of my head.
Wow.
And they're praying. I'm like, what are you praying for? You're not going to heaven. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was thinking in my head. I'm like, oh shit, I need Jesus.
Yeah.
I can't be preaching. I need to go to church.
Yeah, you need to be in this class.
Exactly. And I'm trying to teach these kids about God when I'm praying on their downfall.
Damn, dude.
You know what I mean? Like,
You're low key winking at the devil for him. Now, is the Korean church and white people church kind of the same?
oh no, it's way different, man.
Really?
Like, culture weighs heavy in like Asian American churches. It's like almost culture first, Christ next. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about like you could go to like a Korean or Japanese church, and you'll go there, and it's not even your parents, and they could beat your ass.
Oh, wow.
Just because you're Korean.
I like that. Secondhand ass beat.
Yeah, dude, I would get like ass whoopings all the fucking time.
Yeah, you're like,
from
who the fuck was that? Yeah.
Exactly. I
He
don't
just
even
left
know
his
who-
business card, and you're like, oh, God, okay.
Like, people would beat your ass in church, and they would tell your parents that I beat them up because they did this, and then my parents would apologize to them for having them slap me around.
Oh, wow. So
You know?
much honor.
And then I would go home, and then I get my ass beat again. It's like, damn, dude. Like, what the fuck? You would think I'd be a lot better at fighting. You know what I mean? But I'm not.
So Korean people, is there more of a group think? Like as a group, like it's okay if you help me raise my kids a little bit, or it's okay if
Yeah,
you keep
man.
them in line? It's like, is there more respect, do you feel like, from young people to adult?
Yeah, oh, definitely, man. There's a chain of command to the max, especially in Asian culture. Like, there's like even certain instances that you could read about. There was a Japanese airline a few years back that had a terrible incident that happened where the pilot was planning to commit suicide and kill everybody on the plane, which he did. He did do it. And so what they found out through communication, I don't know how they found this out, but I think it's even in a book. But the co-pilot knew that he was going to commit suicide, right? But in Asian culture, even specifically in Japanese culture too, he didn't want to speak out of turn. So he didn't say anything. Wow. Out of respect. And they fucking crashed and everybody died because, I can say nothing. Right. You know, which is so fucking wild. And
I'll say something next life.
Yeah. And that happened at a Korean airline too, or something similar to it, which you could probably look it up.
30th
Yeah,
anniversary
there it is right
Japan
there,
Airlines
man.
Flight 123 crash. Wow. And first of all, calling it Flight 123 crash. Oh, it's Flight 123.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's the word. I thought that was the airline name, 123 crash.
1, 2, 3, crash.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like it's kind of wild. Like you could look up and so I think like
So a lot of honor, a lot of like, you know when to talk and not to talk.
dude, think about Japanese culture and like harikiri or seppuku where they fucking kill themselves out of honor. That's the wildest thing to me.
Yeah, me too.
Like I've shamed myself. Let me kill myself. Fuck that, dude. Like I shame myself. Oh well.
Yeah.
You know, and I just move on.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
you're pretty westernized then.
Oh, I'm westernized as fuck,
Right.
man. Like, I love America, dude. Like, people even ask me, like, yo, Korea and America go to war. Who do you stay? America.
Really?
Hell, we got nukes, bro.
Yeah.
We got the artillery, son. You know
Dude,
what I mean?
it's so crazy. There's a lot of people in America who their first thing is to not. That's sometimes what gets me sometimes, or something that irks me is it's like, is coming to America and then not even wanting to be for America.
Yeah, I'm for America, man. Like, this is the country.
I mean, I'm from here, so I'm for America. But I feel like if I went and lived in another country, I wouldn't just stand over there in that country and be for America the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if I'm living here and I'm part of what's going on here, then, you know, like I have some friends who they'll vote in different elections. I'm like, well, I'm going to do what's best for, you know, whatever country my grandparents are from or something. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you live here. And it's their choice, but to me, that just makes you feel uncomfortable for some reason.
Like for me, like I love Korea, South Korea. I mean, that's a part of my heart. I love that place. But if you're asking me who I am, like I'm an American. Like I've benefited from this country so much. You know what I mean? There's a reason why I pay taxes here. There's a reason why I like this country is because I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for this country.
Right.
Not to say that I can never cut out my South Korean heritage and culture, but I didn't grow up there.
Yeah.
I don't know the culture. I don't know. They didn't put anything into my pool of life that helped me be who I am. My parents did, and that's why I know how to speak, read and write in Korean. But when it comes down to it, I'm American.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I raised that American flag.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's cool.
You know what I mean?
No, it's cool to hear. I mean, it's just cool to see, like, you know, it's just cool coming from a place where all we mostly have was black and white, and it's neat to see that, like, you know, you don't see, it's neat to see that people like America that aren't just white. Now there's this thing now, it's like if you like the American flag, it's like you're a racist white person. I feel like there's this crazy vibe going on, which is not true, and it's not fair.
I had a conversation just yesterday about that, man. So a friend of ours was talking about how he's out in Vegas right now, right? And he says, like, don't you find it so weird when you see a dude in a huge pickup truck and he's waving an American flag and you feel like he's racist?
Yeah.
It's like, why is that? I was like, oh shit, why is that? I was like, that's the American, it's not a Confederate flag.
Right.
It's the American flag. And you feel something negative towards that. And it's weird because that's our country, it's our flag.
Yeah.
But now there's like a negative stigma towards it. I don't know why.
I think it's advertising has done that. Like, you know, they've just pushed that in the last couple of years where it's like, oh, it's un-American if you like the American flag. I think a lot of that happened with to me, it seems like a lot of that happened with the election with Trump and Clinton, was that Trump kind of brought, you know, he used the American flag a lot, and Hillary used this other, it was like an H flag with like an arrow in it. Kind of almost looked like a FedEx, a little bit of that FedEx kind of arrow, but like they took on a different type of emblem. And so I think that whereas the parties, you know, if it were Republican or Democrat, it used to be like one of them had like an elephant and one of them had a donkey. Yeah, she had like the I'm with her, and then there was like just an H, one that even just had like an H. And so whereas Trump stuff was all like, some of it was Trump, but then also the American flag seemed to go with Trump.
I was attached to him.
Yeah, it kind of got attached. And so then I think that's what it was. But the scary thing to me was growing up, you had all these car commercials, right? And truck commercials. And they had the American flag in them, and they had a truck, right? And they're like, buy this is American, you know, this is American. Drive a truck, this is American. And so a lot of people bought into that, you know, that's where they got some of their idea of America. A lot of it comes from advertising. So it's like, well, all these people were doing, they're the children, a lot of these people driving these big trucks with the flags, most of them are just the children of people who watched those commercials growing up. Yeah. Or they themselves saw those, you know, it's just the advertising. And now suddenly a lot of the advertising is like, oh, that's not American. If you know, it's like un-American. But it's like, but you're the same advertiser. Like 20 years ago, it was okay to be that. Like, I don't know. But yeah, it is weird. It's like, why, if I have an American flag now, do I feel that that's racist? Yeah. I don't ever want to feel that.
Yeah, like it's there's like a negative like cloud around it too. I mean, you know more about I don't know shit about politics, dude. Absolutely fucking nothing, man. Like when people talk about politics, I'm just like, oh shit, this is not my conversation. Yeah, you know, because people would ask. It's so funny. Like people on social media, they look at like these new media people, like YouTubers, and like, you should talk about politics. I'm like, why? I don't know shit. I just know who the president is, and I just pay my taxes like a good American. Yeah. That's all I fucking... And they're like, well, how come you don't know more about politics? You should speak more about it. I'm not going to speak shit about stuff I don't know about. You know? Yeah. I'll make jokes about it, but even then, to make jokes about politics, you have to know what's going on. Right. And I don't. And people always bring up like these like politicians' names and stuff, and they're like, what do you think? I'm like, I don't fucking know.
I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
It's all turning into the WWE anyway. Everything is quick. Bro, quickly... Everything's turning into that. It's all going to be wrestling. we're all going to be shooting wrestling
The
promos.
UFC is becoming the WWE for crying out
And the
loud.
and they're talking about The Rock running for office next term. I mean, it's all merging into exactly what it's supposed to. We're in this me time. Everybody has an Instagram. Everybody has a can put commercials out for themselves. It all makes sense that that's what it is.
Like what I feel like what happened with this last election is that they were specifically campaigning, in my personal opinion, to get the youth to come in and vote. And the only way you can get these fucking young kids to vote is if you create drama.
Right.
And I think it kind of backfired. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I guess you got the youth to vote, but it wasn't even, you know. But then, like, look what happened.
Right.
We have this like reality TV star as a president.
Right.
Now like The Rock being the president. Like, mind you, I fucking love The Rock.
I love The Rock too.
I don't give a fuck how bad his movies are. I'm watching every single one of them.
That's an Asian thing then.
Yeah.
That's who's watching them.
I'll tell you right now, dude. The Rundown, what's it called? Walking Tall, where he played the same character with just two different movie names. You know, it was the same fucking movie. He just walks and pulls up an eyebrow and kicks somebody's ass.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but now that he's a president, and he says he's going to be the president, people don't go, absolutely not. They go,
Right.
Why not?
Why not?
If Trump
Sure.
did, why not? The Rock can.
Right. And then I hope that who's going to run against him? Voldemort. Like, that's the thing, though. Anything can happen. And the crazy thing about Hollywood is Hollywood like, dude, nobody, like, people had heard of Donald Trump, right? You always heard of, like, Trump. You'd reference him as, like, a rich person. But if it wasn't for that show that someone in Hollywood made $1 billion on for Apprentice, if it wasn't for that show, he never would have had enough popularity to be
Yeah.
known that much, you know?
It's-
And also, so all these politicians were friends with him, and suddenly he's the worst person in the world? Like, why wasn't he the worst person? Like, it's just, we're all fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, we don't want the most fucked up guy being president. And I think we'll get to a place where we'll learn about that, you know? But I just hate sometimes, like, how acting that we're not better than where we are.
Yeah.
We're where we are because of who we are.
Yeah.
You know, like in a weird way, Trump's on his third wife. He bought her from another country or whatever. Bro, that's half the fucking dudes I know.
Dude, you know why? I feel so fucking bad because, like, as somebody who, as a comedian, I really enjoy the fact that Trump is up there because it's so funny.
Oh, he's hilarious. His son, Donald Jr., is hilarious.
Man, like forever in my life, I will remember Trump going up to a whole crowd of people saying, I wish my wife was here. And she's right next to him. She flew in the fucking plane with you, you fucking maniac. You know what I mean? If only my
It's
wife was here.
hilarious.
And she's sitting there like, you fucking bitch. I'm right here. Like, when in the world would you have ever saw that in the history of, you know what I mean?
know.
And I'm just sitting there like, it's terrible for our country, but I'm like, this is mad entertaining.
But I think a lot of people, for some reason, it's also like, let's put somebody in office who, at least you can look at Trump, you're like, fuck, he cheats on his taxes. You know, he and his wife have trouble communicating. Obviously, he has a son that they say may have autism. You know, fuck. I can kind of fucking relate to that guy. You know, that's like half. I mean, sad. You know, is it sad or is it just who we are? You know, like I could relate to Barack Obama in a way that I was inspired. That, you know, I thought it was super inspirational to have. He was like more of a figure that you would look like. His was more of an inspiration type of thing. You know, like young black men or young diverse. You know, somebody that's different. You can have any dream you want, you know? Like after that, a lot of complaints, like some black people saying they can't do this, or people who are mixed or different, or even just poor, anybody could do fucking anything.
You know what it is? Like, people are just always going to be discontent about something.
Yeah.
You know, but like, you know, the issue with like Trump that people have is like, you want your president to be presidential.
Right.
You know?
That's the thing.
And then everybody thought that, oh, we want somebody just like me to be up there. No, you fucking don't. You are trash.
Yeah.
And you do not want trash to run this company or this country or anything. You know what I mean?
But I think people kind of like it because it's fucking, here's the thing, it's entertaining. I think he keeps the news channels in business. Nobody would be watching the fucking news if it weren't for Donald, dude. Yeah. Is this it?
Yes, at that Florida rally yesterday, he addressed the acting presidential.
Okay, let's hear that then.
Let's hear this.
Anybody can act presidential.
He looks like he already died.
It's so funny.
Ladies and gentlemen of the state of Florida, thank you very much for being here. You are tremendous people.
Tremendous. He loves that.
And I will leave now because I am boring you to death. Thank you.
Oh my God, this guy's wild.
Bro, he's
man.
trolling the whole fucking thing, bro. You don't. He's gonna win again, man.
You know what he has, man? He got this. You know why people hate
fearless.
him? He got that white people hate face, man. It's that.
He does have that.
Like, I'm better than you, white people face.
He does.
That's why a lot.
But they all have it. Him and Hillary have the same. I thought they had the same face.
Oh, she got that same face too, man. Like, that's why people said it's the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
You know, I technically don't really know what that means, like, in terms of, like, politics wise.
I know. You're like, can't we do better than this?
Yeah, I just don't like both of them. I don't know why.
I think we will. I'd like to see him and Bernie in a steel cage match against Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. Are both those guys still alive?
Yes, they are.
Oh,
Dude,
good.
I feel like if Bernie farted, his kneecaps would explode. Like,
So we have a chance. That's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
But as a tag team duo, them two, Bernie and Trump on a tag team.
Maybe. Dude, Trump
No, I mean in an actual wrestling match. Like I'm just saying, it's all headed towards WWE. You know what I'm saying? Like so quickly.
Yo, wasn't Trump in a WWF or a WWE episode?
Yes, definitely.
He was, right?
See, that's what I'm saying. It's people want fucking. Are we not? Are you not entertained? People, at the very least, they want to be entertained now. You have to fuck. You better fucking entertain me. You know. We want the reality. Well, here's one thing I didn't like that I don't like is I don't like the hatred of Melania. Like I don't get that. She's an immigrant, right? Sure, she may be a gold digger. 95% of the women in fucking Los Angeles are gold diggers. You know?
I think. Wow, I wonder why. Maybe they hate her because she's an immigrant and he's like supposed to be the hate. He hates immigrants, but she's an immigrant, so it's just so weird watching.
Right, well, does he hate immigrants? If he has I don't know. Maybe he only likes pretty. You know, who knows?
You can't hate her. He doesn't even know she exists, for crying out
He
loud.
probably doesn't.
That shit's so funny when I see her at everything and she just looks so pissed off. She's so
know.
angry all the time.
Well, I think she probably had a more relaxing life, and now she's thrust into. But dude, think of her. She's the first lady of fucking America. She grew up in where? Where's she from? Like, if you want to talk about it's just weird. It's like there's such a crazy dichotomy going on. If you want to talk about the American dream for a woman to move to a country and you could be whatever you want to be,
The first lady.
she's it. She is an example of it. Now, is it the most cavalier way to get there? I don't know.
I would have never thought that I'd be able to see the titties of the first lady too,
know.
because you could see her titties right now if you wanted to. You just go look up Melania Trump naked, and it's like, damn, dude, look at those tatas.
I think it's just, and I think it's all a way to get to somewhere better, man. I would love to see what Asian ethnicity would be the best to be our first president of America.
Shit, I don't know. That's hard to say, man. Korean people are always angry. Japanese people are angry and then sometimes too nice. Vietnamese people are wild as fuck. Cambodians scare me.
Yeah, what's up with them Bodis, boy? What do they call them, Bodis? Them Cambos?
Cambodians, man, like you just the Cambodian, like
Yeah, what are
they
they?
went through, just like the Khmer, like war, all that other stuff, man. Like if you talk about gang violence, man, I'm talking about Long Beach, anywhere, Stockton, Modesto. Cambodian people know what's up. You guys are fucking. You don't fuck with Cambodian people.
Really?
Dude. No, I'm talking about. You could even look this shit up. Like this is some real shit. Like people. Gangs understood at that time, like this is when I was super young, you don't fuck with fucking Southeast Asian refugees. Because you would come up to me and you'd be like, I'll fuck you up. That's cool. I'm going to chop your fucking head off and leave it on a railroad track.
Wow.
And that shit would legit happen. I think that happened in Stockton or something too.
And they'll make soup out of somebody. They don't give a fuck, huh?
They don't give
But in a real way, they don't give a fuck.
because they came from a war-torn country. You
Yeah.
know, so what are you saying that's any more scary to me? I grew up with the AK in my hand,
Right.
you know, as a kid.
Right. Like
now you're
the-
talking about you gonna fucking ride out on me. It's like, I will chop your feet off and leave it as a necklace.
Yeah.
For fun.
Yeah.
And I'll count only with your toes and not my fingers anymore.
I'll use my calculator.
Fucking
and
abacus.
I'll do fucking abacus, man. I'll do math on your toes. Let me see what you got. Wow, that's crazy. So Cambodian. So yeah, give me some more knowledge. Like if I'm just a regular white person and I meet an Asian person, how can I know, or a regular black person, or anybody who doesn't know a lot of Asian people? How can is there a way to know that somebody is Korean?
I don't know. We just gotta look. Korean people look like Korean people. you
Okay.
know?
Are there any hints or any way?
Korean people are a lot more, they're a lot more angrier. They have a short fucking temper.
Oh, really?
It's just a part of our culture, dude. We're short
They're
tempered.
dynamite, huh?
short-tempered as hell, man. Like I don't know. I think it's because our history is so dark and sad that a lot of people have it. They call it Han, which is I think it means like anger or even like revenge. Like Korean. If you look up Korean films, our fucking revenge films are the fucking best.
Wow.
My favorite film on earth is this film called I Saw the Devil.
I Saw the Devil. Let's put a link to that in the show today, Nick,
Yeah,
if we can.
It's the ultimate revenge film.
Wow.
And it's so fucking satisfying, man. Like
So satisfying.
I love that shit, dude. I love revenge films. Like, and I don't fucking know why, man. But when somebody gets their just desserts, it's like fuck yeah, man.
Fuck yeah.
That's
Wow. Do Korea? So is that they like things being fair? Is that what it is? When you say just, or they like, okay, this guy got wronged, and now let's see how he does it right.
everything is so dramatic. I think in Korean culture, I think that's like the beauty of our culture too.
Oh, it's very dramatic. I like that.
Dude, look at Korean dramas.
So they love drama.
I think so, man. They always like something that's popping off or going on, and even like Korean, like K-pop music. Look how strong of a wave that is. I mean, my people, we have a strong influence. Like Chinese people, even in America, dude. If you go to these K-pop concerts in America, all white people. Wow. All white people that want to look Korean. When Korean people want to look like white people.
Oh, bro, the craziest thing in China that I did see was a lot of surgery to look white. To the point where sometimes it made me feel sad.
You don't even look human anymore, man.
It made me feel sad. People had gotten their eyes kind of rounded, but oddly rounded almost, and then some of their skin bleached. And the girls straightening their hair to an insane length and blonding it.
Like Korea is like one of the top in like prosthetic surgeries or whatever.
Oh, really?
Like, and it's cheaper there too. So a lot of people go out like these K-pop stars. If you look at their pictures of what they used to look like before they got into the industry, completely different, dude. All that plastic surgery, and
They all look exactly the same. It's almost like they look anime.
They went to the same fucking doctor. They didn't think about switching it up.
Yeah.
So they all cut themselves the same fucking way. And even like for somebody like my girlfriend, right? She grew up super Korean, and she goes, "Oh, those people look so good." In my mind, I'm like, they look like fucking freaks.
Right.
They don't look human. Like, what are you?
Yeah.
With the bright pink lipstick and the pale ass skin, you look like a fucking ghost. Don't talk to me. You know what I mean?
It's very wild, and their celebrities have it's the same look. It's like it's almost like it's not a 90210. I don't know what it is, but it's a very same look. It's almost like looking like the idea of a celebrity more than just being yourself.
That's the one thing that, even though people talk about in America how they want you to be skinny in a certain way, but compared to other countries, not so much, man. Like we do have like diverse looks here. Like especially even in modeling, they want to find that different look. The person with the freckles, the person with the red hair, the blue eyes.
Not in Korea?
No, it's more like you want to
Let's get American.
Yeah, you should look like this. You should have the fair skin, the pink, the rounded eyes, the small jawline. A compliment in Korea is this: like you have a small face.
Wow,
that's a compliment.
Ooh, I'm gonna start using
that.
In the club?
Yeah, they would say shit like that.
조그매?
조그매 means like small.
조그매미.
Yeah, I was like, so I'm like, and my mom would say that too. Oh, you 얼굴이 왜 이렇게 조그매? It's like, oh, why is your face so small? I'm like, how the fuck is that a compliment, dude? Who says that? You know what I mean? Your pictures are so small, like a little peanut. Like what
It seemed fun being Asian. Is it fun for you to be Asian? It seemed like fun because you have such like a kind of a wider view of things a little bit,
I like
and
culture, man.
Yeah,
I love culture, dude. Like that's why, culture. I think culture is American. You know what I mean? People got it twisted sometimes. They're like, oh, I have to be more American. No, you being who you are, where you're from, is American.
That's it. I agree. Yeah, people are always, and one thing I don't like is, it's like, okay, we need to change America to be like these places so those people can feel comfortable here. Fuck no. Just let it be how it is. That's what America is. If it's a melting pot, let it be a fucking melting pot. Don't say we have to make sure every Chinese person feels comfortable in class and we need to make one of the whole walls about China. Like, just fucking let it be a shitty wall like it was when we were all in school.
Yeah.
And let that person be who they are. We don't have to put it on a wall and then nobody can talk about anything. And then we say we did it like we're checking a box.
Yeah, like I like celebrating other cultures. That's just what it is. Just let it be.
Yeah.
And don't shit on somebody for being who they are. And then that's like the beauty of America. You know what I mean? This country is supposed to be built on immigrants.
Yeah.
People coming here be able to express their religion, their thoughts, who they are and their cultures. And once you kind of take that away and you say, well, let's stop racism by taking everything away, then you're not American anymore.
Right.
This is not America anymore.
Right. Then it's not. Then it's something else. Then it's North Korea.
Yeah, it really is, man. And I hate that thought too, because back in the day too, they would stop like you could ask any like immigrant, like Asian immigrant that came here like 30, 40 years ago, and their parents. There's like second generation Asian kids that don't know how to speak their language because their parents said, you need to be more American, don't speak that language. Because they're afraid their kids were going to get bullied. They were going to get punked, they were going to get made fun of, which they did. You know, they got made fun of for having an accent or eating weird fucking food.
Yeah.
You know, your lunchbox had like squid and shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and when I was a kid, I remember this. My mom made like kimchi fried rice, and I put it in this little bento box thing, and I took it, and then my dad was like, "Don't take that." He goes, "Why?" Because it smells funny, and kids are gonna make fun of you.
Yeah, he was right.
And he was right. I didn't understand it.
Right.
You know, because even as a little kid, I gave fucks, but for a kid, I should have gave more fucks.
Right.
You know what I mean? I should care more about what people have thought
Yeah.
at that time for a child. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't. I was like, I'm going to take this anyways. It tastes good. And I took it, and I got made fun of for it. But it was damn delicious.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't give a fuck. I was like stuffing, and they're like, ew, that smells. I'm like, man, fuck your white. You know, I will be real though, dude. Whenever the white kids brought this fucking Wonder Bread with ham and American cheese, I wanted that so bad. Oh, really? Because I wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, fuck, I'll trade you. I'll trade you my fucking squid rice.
I'm like, I'm not trading that fucking shit, you psycho. Some guys look like you're sucking the ocean's dick over here with this fucking sack of snacks.
I fucking love the white people sandwiches, man.
Wow.
To this day, one of my favorite. I could eat a sandwich every day for the rest of my life.
Wow, you love
I
sandwiches, huh?
love sandwiches, man. I don't even. There's something American and delicious about a sandwich, man.
Yeah.
I fucking love that shit, dude. My mom would get so angry. She goes, "Why do you like sandwiches so much?" I was like, "Cause I don't know, man. I just feel it's just like you just don't make it for me."
Yeah.
Yeah, little fucking Jimmy got the fucking American
With
cheese.
that fucking mayo on there.
Yeah, and somehow that ham would be a perfect square made for that Wonder Bread. And I love that shit. Mayonnaise? Don't even get me started. I love mayonnaise, man.
Do Asian people, what's a condiment that Asian people love that we don't know?
No, I mean, Asian people love mayonnaise.
And so, but Japanese people, are they like too cool for school, or like what are they like? They're just quieter.
You know, I never grew up around too much Japanese people, but like for me, like Japanese people and Korean people are very similar.
They are.
Yeah. But I think like this is my observation.
Yeah,
of
no,
Asian
and
people.
yeah, and we're not.
Yeah. This is just my view. Like,
yeah, and I'm just curious.
from traveling all over, like Korean people are so funny because like every Korean knows that Korean people love talking shit. Yeah. They
awesome.
They fucking love that. They think they're better than everybody. Korean people hate Korean people. That's why we got a North and South Korea.
Wow.
We can't even get along with each other.
Couldn't even figure that out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I think like the Korean War started when somebody got in a fight with their reflection. Like that's how that shit started out. You know what I mean? And so Korean people are so funny to me because like Japanese people are some of the nicest human beings I've met. And mind you, they have like their negative caveats. They work they work their people to death. You know, there's like this weird like social dynamic that's kind of odd there. But like Korean people think they're fancy like Japanese people, but they think they're better than Chinese people. But I like Korean, but we have Samsung, but we'll still spit on the floor and smoke and squat on the floor. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we're like a mix between everybody.
They want to be everything, kind of.
Yeah, that's how I see my people. It's like you think you're fucking fancy, but you're actually not, and you judge people like everybody else is crap,
Right.
which is like the Korean soul. Which funny, it's like a negative thing, but I kind of like it.
The
It's like-
judgment.
Yeah.
The revenge. The fucking. They like being like. They like to. What is it?
like I would hear a lot of like old Korean people like talk about other Asian cultures, and she would crack me up because you know it's a Vietnamese people. That's a dirty Asian. like, what's a dirty Asian, dude? You know, it's the Japanese people. That's no good. You know, it's a Chinese people. It's like Korean people. The worst. Like what is going on?
You're like, that's everybody.
That's what my dad would say. He goes, never do business with the Chinese people. I was like, what about Korean people? Never do business with the Korean people. I'm like, wait, who should you do business with? Don't do business with anybody. It's like, okay, where's this lesson going? You know what I mean? And my dad would say shit like, white people, no marry. It's like, why? They love a divorce. Like it's a hobby.
They love a divorce.
Yeah, divorce.
It is like it's a hobby. That's hilarious.
They love a divorce. Like, you know, like I don't think they love divorce, Dad. Like, you know, like that's like the American way. Like white people, it's like together. No, there goes a marry and then go other way. That's the marriage of white people.
Do people stay married more in Korean culture?
Yeah.
Really?
They do. Even if they're unhappy, they stay together. Not so much anymore, but they think more about the family unit. So it's like if we separate, and that's also because they don't want to hear shit from other families. So think about what other people say. I'm not saying it's like that now. But
Right.
that's what I grew up with a lot of families. They stayed together for the kids, and also because they didn't want to be shamed.
But is there and so in some ways people will be like, oh, that's fucked up. Get out there and do your thing, and go on and be happy. But in other ways, is there something that's kind of neat about that as well?
I like the fact that they care about the family unit so much
Right.
that they would sacrifice themselves for the children.
Yeah.
And in that kind of sense, they would think that it's better, but sometimes it's better just to be away from somebody that hates you.
Right.
But at the same
But
time,
imagine the joy in a Korean household when you and your husband hate each other and just slowly fucking getting revenge.
dude, man, I used to think my parents hated, but they love each other very much. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's hard to tell sometimes when Korean parents hate each other.
Yeah.
Because they're just always mad anyways. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what are you guys flirting? Like, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying?
Are you guys about to fuck, but with knives?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Dude, like I saw my mom once throw a rice cooker at my dad's head, and he just ducked, and it shattered everywhere. And I would share these stories with like,
And
these
that's foreplay.
Yeah, I guess they were fucking or something
Yeah.
later on that night. But I would see violence in my house, man.
yeah.
And it was just I would share these stories to like white kids at college, and they would just be mortified.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I remember when my mom, like, she would like go into the room, and my dad would be so mad. She would lock the door. He would kick that door down. I'll hear them screaming, and they're like, whoa, what the hell? I'm like, that's just a normal Sunday, bro.
Yeah.
We had dinner right after.
That's
Things were
Korean
cool.
hide and go seek, bro.
Hell yeah, dude. Do you know how I used to get beat? The most creative fucking way, dude. My dad used to have me hold this chair above my head. And this is a Korean thing. They would have you hold shit up above your head, right?
tickle you?
And no. So you could only hold it for so long before it starts to drop down, right? But if it would drop, they would fucking whack you with the stick. Ooh. And so eventually what would happen is my arms would get so tired, the chair would smack my head, and my dad would hit me in the ass. So it was just the whole time. It's just, bah, bah, boom, bah, boom, bah. Like if a white person was watching that in through a window, they would think we were preparing for a fucking show. You know what I mean? And I shared this shit with my teacher. Her name was Miss Escobar, because I got caught plagiarizing.
Oh, yeah.
And I got my ass beat, and I was telling her, like, this is what you did to me. And she just started laughing her ass off. Wow. She don't care. She's Mexican. You know what I mean? She just thought it was hilarious.
She's like, I'm going to use that.
Yeah. She still mentions it till this day. I love that lady to death.
That's funny, dude. We had a couple of calls that came in. Nick?
Yeah.
I think we can get to a couple of them.
Hi, this is Lily. I wanted to ask a question for David. When you were filming the movie Gook, what message did you want, like, the audience to take away from it? And then what was the unexpected message that people took out of it that you guys did not intend for it to be?
Damn it,
Okay,
bitches.
bye.
You were deep.
Seems kind of like a leading question. Does she already know this answer? Or so you have a film called Gook. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Gook is a film that's kind of based around the LA riots.
Okay.
And it's not about the LA riots. If you want to know what the LA riots are about, you go watch a fucking documentary. This is not about that. This is about people.
Yeah.
Just to answer her question, like what we wanted people to understand was the community and family. So Gook is representative a lot about. I mean, Justin Chan wrote it, and I helped write certain parts about it too. And then I also helped produce and enact it. And what we wanted people to take away from this was that during those times, and even till this day, those people were affected so differently, and it wasn't about hating each other. It was two communities that didn't understand each other. And so how I put this is this. So you have this black community. They've been here for fucking years.
Yeah. Can you bring a picture up of it, Nick, please?
And they can't get a bank loan to open up a business. There's
Okay.
this like systematic racism that happens to them, right? And then you have these Asian people that come to this country, bank loan, like that.
Yeah.
They start opening up businesses in their neighborhood. And all they see is like, yo, these people are profiting off of us. And we're over here struggling. And this is something that's very true to me because my parents own a black beauty supply store.
Right.
But what they don't know is like, yo, did you know that we're also struggling too? Just because we have a business doesn't mean we're rich.
Right.
We're actually poor. We're on welfare. You don't know that. And we're two communities that are struggling. But when you're starving and you're worried about your own, all you can see is your own problems. So you're not worried about what your neighbor is going through. You're trying to just put food on your table for your family.
Right.
So when you're worried about your own issues, you don't care to have empathy towards somebody else. And that in my personal opinion, that's what was happening with like the Asian and black community.
Wow.
So and that's kind of like a lot of what Gook really is about. This is about people. And what you find out is that you guys are actually very similar. You guys are going through the same struggles, and you guys all have the same goals.
Right.
And there's even this thought about, Asian people don't like black people. Well, that's not true at all. It's Asian people came into this country and they had no opinions besides what other people told them to have. So when they came here, they didn't know what black people were. I remember my friend who was Korean, he came here for the first time. He saw a black person, he freaked the fuck out. He didn't know what the fuck that was. He was like, what the fuck? What is that? What is that person? It's like, that's a black person. You know, it's an African American. And he's like, I've never seen like a African American before. And you know, whatever negative thought that certain Asian people had about like the African American community was, they were molded to think that. They didn't have this thought about what African American black people were. This country molded them to think that.
Right.
But for them, but at the end of the day, they were just worried about feeding their families. And if there was a conversation that would have happened, they would have understood each other.
Right.
When shit's going down, you don't give a fuck. You care about your kids and putting food on that table. That's it.
Yeah, and there's not that conversation in America a lot of times. Like, here's the thing. Like, a lot of times in the South, it's like, you know, when I'm growing up, you see a lot of black families that, you know, they're not working. You know, you see a lot of black, you know, there's a lot of violence. Like, I had 2 of my black friends got murdered in New Orleans over the past 25 years, 22 years. Oh, wow. So those were my closest 2 black friends, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you see a ton of black on black crime. And what you don't, when you're growing up in the South, a lot of times you don't realize that, like, you know, there's been generation after generation of black families that haven't been able to get jobs or that haven't been able to get, you know, like if your grandfather wasn't able to get a good job, dude, by the time it gets to the grandson, like, you know, when your grandfather could get a parking ticket and you might not have a good Christmas, like that's a tight rope, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's just, you know, there's a lot of poverty, but you don't realize that when you're growing up. Especially if you're a white person, you just see a lot of black people that seem like thnot doing anything. There's always this thing in the South, like my friends would be like, you know, or people would be like, you know, oh, there's black people just sitting on their porches. They don't care. They're not even fucking working, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it's like some of these people are sitting on their porches and it's just poor people really.
Yeah.
But they're sitting on their porches because they don't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot. It's fucking hot inside. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, so that's a reason, right? But you don't see when you're, you know, you don't see that, well, for 3 generations, someone in their family has been able to get a good job. You know? And so at a certain point, there starts to be a lot of apathy. And it's not just even in poor black, it's in poor white too. It's like a lot of apathy. It's like, well, yeah, you didn't see your mom work or you're not going to fucking want to work. Like, it's just not part of your culture. It starts to not become part of your anything you've seen. Yeah,
a lot of like stuff like this is not from what I've seen growing up, like just, you know, black, Asian, Mexican, you know, whatever. You know, there's this issue of this is what white people do really well is generational wealth.
Right.
They set their kids up for the future a lot.
Right.
From what I've seen, you know.
Right. And they've had an advantage. You know, there's definitely been an advantage. Like, I saw it, you know, like I had friends that would just have like rich kids. Like, there shouldn't be a fucking rich kid. Dude, if my kid ever seems fucking rich, bro, I'm gonna fucking whoop his ass for that.
Dude, man, when I think about having a kid, like I legit want to rob my own child.
Yeah.
I don't even have a kid yet. You know what I mean? Like I want to be the first person to jump my kid.
Yeah.
Like at the age of 5, I'm just give him a birthday gift and sock him in the face. It's like that's life. Like daddy had to go through that shit too.
Yeah.
Like I have all these plans of like getting like Bart and Joe, and now it's gonna be you too, because we're gonna go into a van and we're gonna dress up and we're gonna come to my child and be like, hey, would you like to come in for some candy?
Yeah.
He comes in, we just beat the fucking shit out of him and kick his ass out.
Damn, this shit is hella Korean, bro. I kind of like it.
And then he comes back. I'm like, what happened? He goes, somebody tried to kidnap me. It's like, no, they didn't. You went in for candy, you dumbass. You know, I know, because it's daddy. And I take off the mask. You know what I mean?
Daddy. And then I'm one of the background dancers, and I'm like, it's daddy. It's daddy. But yeah, you know, but sometimes it's like you have to, you know, it's like, I don't know. America's tough, man. There's definitely, but yeah, like generational wealth. It's kind of, sometimes I feel like some of that stuff, it seems like it's not fair. It's like when you get to the end of your life, you know, I don't know if we should all go back into a pool, but I just wish there was a way where it gave everybody a little bit more of a starting chance. But then sometimes if you don't have that fucking struggle, bro, like the struggle's what makes you. Yeah. The struggle's what makes anything worth any fucking value.
You know, you're talking about like apathy too, and that's, you know, generational wealth, you know, for me, doesn't just mean money. It's knowledge.
Yeah.
Like knowing about scholarships, knowing about how to apply for college. These are some stuff that immigrants don't know. And people who are underprivileged, they don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Like Joe, when you talk to Joe, you should ask Joe about what he thought about college. He thought college was rich people school.
Right.
Community college.
Yeah.
That's how slow that fool was.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I mean? Because we just weren't taught that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so these kids, they were talking about scholarships and going into these programs. I just thought, I just got to get into college. I didn't know how to get there, but I knew I had to. And my parents weren't a part of this country, so they don't even know. So generational wealth has to do with knowledge as well.
Yeah.
And so the people who had that have a leg up. And so now it's my duty. So when I have kids and they want to go to college, I know about scholarships. I know about these routes and doors. So from here on out, now we can prosper. So if you don't have that, you're definitely not going to get that advantage. More than the money part, it's that knowledge.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I see that. It's interesting, man. And it's I notice more as I get older that it's not even about race. It's just about it's like green privilege. It's just about like class.
Yeah.
It's like, because white people had the same type of thing, second, third generation people just sitting around, who their grandfather didn't get a good job. So then the child didn't have any influence to work or see an example. And then the grandchild now is just, is also struggling to find that, and you just start to see that kind of happening. It's definitely about, one thing I think is interesting. You said it a second ago, you start to, apathy happens, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about apathy. But also, apathy happens on the other side when you have wealth.
Yeah.
Because then you lose the fucking desire. You lose the novelty of things, the struggle, there's something, I don't know. There's something that happens on that side.
Complacency,
yeah. Because it's crazy, man. I'm better off now than I was growing up, and I know that my kids will probably grow up in a better socioeconomic environment than I had. And man, that fucking makes me super nervous.
You know what's so weird though? I already know for a fact, my kids are gonna have better things than me, and I'm gonna hate them for it.
Right.
What the fuck? Look at you with
I
your
know, how
fucking
crazy
Tonka
is that?
trunk, you little bitch. But I bought it from. You know what I mean? Look at you, your fucking games, you fucking pussy.
But I'm worried about my kid not having the struggle. I'm worried about him because there's something, bruh. Dude, there was something fun running around, and there still is a lot of times, and I hope I never lose it, about having that chip on your shoulder. Fuck these rich people, fuck these, these people that think they know more than me, fuck these people that are telling me a way that I should be because I'm, they think they have some kind of control over me just because they went to a better school or they live in a nicer place, You
ever realize that a lot of the people that you tend to like are the people who grew up with that same background? They had a similar struggle.
Yeah.
Because people who have had everything growing up, I can't really relate to them. They have this different worldview. For them, I call it I always compare it to opening up a menu. When they opened up a menu at a restaurant, they just saw what they like to eat. What I saw was the number first. It was how many dollar signs?
Yeah.
And if it has a double digit, maybe I'm not that hungry.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
How much is this water?
We're going to stay here in this garden salad section.
Exactly. You know what I mean? I'm trying to go to
side
a
items. Yeah.
Exactly.
I thought side items were all we could eat.
Yo, I remember the first time I started making a paycheck, right? And I ordered an appetizer. I was like, yo, I'm one of them people now, bro. Now
I think we'll get an app.
Yeah. now I'm eating for no reason. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of you now. You know what I mean? I don't just get a dish and then split it with my friends. I get an appetizer and all y'all eat off me.
I'm eating for no reason. That's fucking hilarious.
That's my shit.
Do we have another call?
Yeah.
Let's get to one or two more, David. Thanks so much for coming in, bro.
Dude, no problem, man.
This guy. An adult, huh?
I don't know what he is. What are you, white or Asian? What is that? Mix of both?
How'd you get so fat as an Asian?
Oh, wow.
That's so cool, dude. How'd you get so ugly as a white person?
Damn, dude.
That's so fucking funny.
What a fucking guy.
Have you not seen a sumo before?
Yeah. But you're not sumo. Were you ever a big guy?
I was a big guy. You know what I find it so funny though? It's somebody who does a video like that, they think that they're funny, but they don't realize how ugly God made them.
Yeah.
It's why would you put your face in the video when you're that fucking hideous? That guy legit looks like he kidnaps babies and then cooks them.
Oh, damn. Which is a delicacy in some places.
Yeah, which sounds like a good meal to me.
Dude, imagine the soft fucking a baby's ribs. Oh.
It's crazy because he had more hair on his chin than he does on his head. That's fucking wild to me.
How angry he is.
No, because this is what it is. People would try to roast you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't want to come with me that.
Yeah.
We'll go back and forth with them
this guy.
with them ugly ass rapist sunglasses with your mouth open and shit. You hit that record button and you didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Let's watch it one more time, dude.
Watch this again. Look at this. Put a dick in that mouth right there.
Oh my God.
He did that old person pause. You know when they hit record and they don't know what's going on?
Yeah, let's watch it one more time here.
Look at that. I can smell his breath.
How'd you get so fat as an Asian?
You're so fucking clumsy. You got straps at the back of your sunglasses. I could go on for days,
Dude,
bro.
I fucking hate this guy. I love that, man. That's crazy. Yeah, that guy's out of his mind. Sometimes I feel like I've never dated an Asian girl or been with an Asian girl. Sometimes I feel like they do not like me at all because I get no vibe from them. Like at least if it's a white girl or a black girl, Latino girl, I can get a vibe from them. Why is it that I cannot get that vibe from an Asian person? Is it just because I haven't spent enough time around them, or they just kind of keep to themselves, or what is it?
I don't know, but I've been seeing a lot of like Asian girls date white dudes now. You know,
Was it looked down upon at certain points?
I think I feel like back in the day it was like you dating a white person, you're a sellout.
Right.
You know, but what don't you like about Asian dudes? You know what I
Right.
mean? But now it's just like cultures are mixing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, cultures are mixing. That is what it is. For me, I am with the Korean girl who I will propose and marry eventually. Because number one, like I don't want to. I'm not to say I don't want to lose my culture, but I connect with her on that cultural level because even though I am American, I'm still very Korean, and I connect with her so hard on that. You know what I mean? And
Oh,
for
that's
me,
cool.
like mind you, if I met a white girl that could speak Korean fluently, I've been on that ass. Bah.
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't meet that person. You know,
Right.
and I met a girl who I culturally connected with, emotionally connected with, and she was Korean. Majority of my life, I dated Vietnamese girls
Wow.
because I grew up around a lot of Vietnamese chicks. You know, but
Viettes, huh?
I thought they were fucking hot. El Fuego.
They're wild, huh?
I
Do they
like-
sleep? Somebody said Vietnamese people don't sleep.
What?
I'm not joking. One of my friends told me that.
Maybe
and I told
not.
him it's a lie.
Because I don't know. I think Chinese people don't sleep.
Really?
That's why their restaurants never close.
Yeah.
Vietnamese restaurants close promptly. They're
Really?
like, I don't want to work anymore. You know, they just fucking close the door, man. Fuck it. Yeah, they
Now,
move
what
on.
about Filipino people? Because everybody loves Filipino people.
Filipino
Is
people?
that true?
Filipino people are just like they're so damn talented. They dance, they sing. I mean, what don't they do, man? They were like
They're happy.
They were like in the forefront of like the gay community. Like
Are they really Asian or not?
They're Asian. They're dark Asian.
Are they an outlier?
You know, they're Pacific Islanders. So I've seen like Filipino people correct me where they're like, I'm not Asian. I'm Pacific Islander.
Oh.
But there's some Filipino people, no, we're Asian. We're just Pacific Islanders. So I guess it depends on how you feel.
So yeah, they're kind of out there in that mix between like almost like New Zealand and Asia kind of meet or something. Like, what's going
I
on?
don't know. They're I mean, I love Filipino people. I love the food.
Yeah, me too. Oh, Filipinos are great. The happy people. They're always happy. The smiling people. What do they call them?
I know Filipino people, man. I love their food, man.
The
I love
Filipino squat. How they can just sit like that.
I used to love their women too, because they would develop at the age of 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was a kid. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Like when you're like in junior
That's
high,
true.
they were the first ones to develop. It
Oh,
was like the Mexican girls and the Filipino chicks. They would always develop earlier than everybody else. But you know, like Filipino people has like Spanish blood in them.
Yeah.
But they were always the most curvaceous, and so everybody was on like every Filipino girl's jock and shit.
Damn.
That's how it was, man.
I'm learning so much, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's cool.
You're learning something from the most crude human being on earth, though. So don't take this information anywhere else.
But no, I know it's just your perspective. But it's so much more than I've ever known about like any Asian stuff. And sometimes it's like, you know, it's like sometimes we just have this society where it's like they make us feel like if we ask, we're being racist, and I don't fucking like that shit, man.
Yeah,
you know,
you
like
know-
if I ask a question, it's because I want to fucking know. You know,
I used to be one of those dudes, you know, that used to get offended by everything. Then I started realizing how stupid I am. It's like, why can't they ask? They're allowed to ask,
Yeah.
and it's your job to give them that knowledge. If anything else, like they're not doing anything wrong. And so for me, people get a big pass from me a lot of the times because if it's ignorance, it's just not knowledge.
Right.
So after that, just if they get the knowledge and they use it, then we're pretty much good. Because a lot of people will say stupid shit just because they don't fucking know.
yeah, they don't know. I've never liked a lot of some of the racial stuff. I never liked. Like I never liked making fun of like the Asian, like the eye thing. I never liked. The driving thing, I don't mind making fun of because that shit was baffling. Even though I think second generation Asians in America are becoming better drivers. Do you notice that?
I think they're all bad. I think Asian people suck.
But I
At the-
always
at the
thought like
driving
making
stuff.
fun of people's like some of making fun of people's looks was too easy. It just wasn't like funny to me.
You know, like-
you know what I'm saying?
I used to get mad at that Asian fucking stereotype, right? Like Asian people can't drive. And then I got my driver's license and I was like, oh shit, I can't drive. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh shit, I suck at this. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we're on a spectrum, right? So either we're really dope at it, like Fast and Furious shit,
Yeah.
or we're just like the Chinese lady who's getting her groceries that's like going over 4 lanes for no reason.
Yeah.
And I'm the Chinese lady going over 4 lanes for no reason. Like, I don't know why.
Dude, I have this theory that Asian people aren't good in motion. That's my theory.
Except for martial arts, son.
But martial arts is in motion, but it's also very like Iwo Jima, like Asian people hide in the ground to fight. Like the flying, once they get in the plane, they crash the plane. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't mean it in a bad way. I just have this theory that like an Asian person from a solitary place, extremely effective, the most effective.
You know what
and
it is?
Karate's kind of from a solitary place in a way. You know, it's like you're kind of, I mean, you then move out, but it's very stationary at first. But Asian people in motion.
You know what it is? Is this that I think we're so fucking next level that when you went to China, right? There's no real street rules. People just, if there's space, you drive in it.
Yeah.
And that's how it is in Vietnam. People are 17
Oh, yeah,
people to a
Vietnam's
scooter.
crazy, yeah.
So we're so fucking next level. We don't need lines. We just intuitively know. And so they take those same rules and apply it to America, but it doesn't apply here. Like you have to follow these rules.
Right, there's more lanes.
It's kind of like New York. Like a red light's suggestive.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when you're in New York, you see like people pass reds. They're like, no, it's just a suggestion.
Yeah, I did notice that there's so many people in China that when they move, you think there's no way this is all going to work out, and it's so
And
much
they
more
get it.
intuition.
It's next level, bro.
It you know, that's really interesting, and it's I think it's a wave that starts to happen in a mental telepathy that starts to happen in a connectivity that happens when there's so many people, and you're that close together. At a certain point, you just figure out how to fucking move together.
Like my girlfriend got T-boned by this Chinese lady that just came from China not too long. Her explanation is so fucking funny, and she has a dash cam, so it recorded everything. And this lady comes up, she fucking turns on unprotected and just smashes into my girlfriend's car, right? And my girlfriend gets, she goes like, "What the fuck?" She goes, looks at my girlfriend. She goes, "What's your problem?" And she's like, "What's your problem?" Right? And she's like literally explaining what she did, even though it's wrong, but she thinks it's right. So when she reported it to the insurance, she thought she was defending herself, but she was just incriminating herself because she
Wow.
thought that she was in the
She
right.
was in the right.
And the insurance adjuster was like,
That's
yeah,
illegal.
this is pretty easy. Like she just admitted to everything she did. And it was so fucking funny. She goes, "No, it's my turn." And she goes, "Well, how do you know that?" She goes, "I just came here from China and I just took the test, so I know the rules better than you." Wow. And that was her reasoning. And it's like, dude, this is wild, dude. And she just got T-boned and it's all recorded. It's fucking amazing.
It's unbelievable, man. It's the dark arts. David, so we appreciate you coming in. Where can people check out Gook? We'll put a link and stuff to it.
You could check it out on Netflix or buy it on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
That's about it. And then check me out on youtube.com/DavidSoComedy, Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, we'll share it. I would love to do some sketches or something sometime together. You
Dude,
think we
let's-
could do something like that?
Yo, we could do anything, bro. Like I got my channel now is just me walking around being stupid.
Is
So
it?
we could think of some stupid shit. We should just do a whole episode about finding out what white people do versus Asian people.
Dude, I would love to. What about the yin and y'all?
Yin and yang.
That'd be kind of funny.
That should be fucking dope, man.
Just us reviewing some, like, or figuring something out.
Yo, if I ever come back to stand-up comedy, just let me open up for you, man.
I don't know about all that, but I would. No, dude, I would be honored, bro. I'd be honored. You can find him on. Well, you're not. You're JK News regular, right? Is that how they claim you in there?
Yeah,
What do they
so
claim you
we
as?
all kind of started it together, but then I have my own thing.
You have your
know
own
what I mean?
channel.
So I'm not trying to run the channel,
Right.
But I'll be a part of it.
Yeah.
You know, if you can see like my role in that thing is literally to facilitate conversation.
Yeah.
Like I'll talk about anything and everything.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Man, you guys really, it's so funny, man, that I would go to a place of, just in a place of different culture for me. You know, it's like most of my friends are just comedians, but to go in a place where, it's just different ethnicities I don't hang out with every day. And that would be the place I kind of broaden my horizon and be like, man, this is, you can make fun of whatever,
Yeah, it's just no holds barred. If people get their feelings hurt, like I'm not saying I'm trying to be an asshole or anything, but in the name of comedy, I'm still working within boundaries. You know what I
Yes.
mean? I know when things go too far, but I could always talk about my personal experience. Sometimes when we tell stories, I think like as comedians too, we collect stories and we observe a lot. And so a lot of these kids don't understand that. They're like, there's no way all this stuff happened. It's like, it did, but you just don't observe your life like we do.
Right.
And we collect stories and it sticks in our head because everything's a sketch or something to write about.
Right. Like the way I'm seeing everything and the way it's even coming into my head is a little bit more of like, oh, how can this be a story? Not just like what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's interesting, man. Thank you for coming and sitting here and just thinking about it and, teaching us a little bit about, just different shit, man.
Hell yeah, man. Anytime, dude.
It was fun.
Yes, sir.
David So, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, David.
Now I'm just floating on the breeze, and I feel I'm falling like these leaves. I must be cornerstone. Oh, but when I reach that ground, I'll share this peace of mind I found. I can feel it in my bones. gonna take a little time for me to set that parking brake and let myself unwind. Shine.